The final bosses of pettiness, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, have made a number of audacious yet strange decisions while ignoring anyone who might be involved. The details in this compilation are extremely unsettling, as people have started to believe that Ryan and Blake are realizing their mistakes. In order to make an impression, Justin and the public had to perform another stunt, and this time their petty behavior led them to Saturday Night Live 50.
Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
The affront it took for Ryan to continue mocking Justin and Blake's conflict did not amuse Kevin Costner, who sat behind Ryan. Kevin's face showed more than just disdain at Ryan's audacity in keeping them updated on the news. Blake disclosed that she had been sexually harassed on the set of It Ends With Us, but Ryan continued to joke about it right there, and their expressions didn't look as distressed as they wanted people to think Ryan's plan is to keep playing the most inventive and funniest person in the room, which he thought he nailed well. Kevin also took the time to look at Blake to see if they were both in on the pettiness. It's clear that they always have a script to play, especially in a situation like this. Ryan would go to great lengths to make fun of Blake and Justin's problems, as demonstrated by certain Deadpool instances, because he feels that Blake's profession is more important than his own. However, it's said that Ryan was referring to Blake here, which likely explains why he felt envious.
Careful where you put your hand. She's 90% G-spot, and she'll let you know it. You let this little flirt out of your sight for 1 second, and she starts shopping for a new papa.
However, it's even more absurd that Ryan returned to Saturday Night Live, where his ex-wife's husband Colin Jost works. Out of all the places in Hollywood where Ryan could pull a practical joke, choosing a location where Scarlett would be to further demonstrate his boldness to those who have been making connections between all the dots in the lawsuit. It's almost as if Ryan was telling people to stop making connections because it's obvious that he's just using his pettiness to overcome the shame that comes with this drama, and he was trying to get back at Colin forever by daring to make fun of the drama, specifically the intimacy coordinator, by adopting a passive-aggressive appearance to let Colin know he has the right to continue making jokes about it.
Don't go there. It's getting anatomical. And don't worry, we will have an intimacy coordinator present for that category.
While Blake was promoting her line of alcoholic beverages, Scarlett also went to and even performed a skit while Blake and Ryan were in the audience. Scarlett was accused of cheating on Ryan when he was married to Scarlett, and flying around is an expensive audacity that only Ryan and Blake could afford. Betty Buzz was not only petty, but also impolite and crazy for comparing the model to an animal.
Because at Betty Buzz, we don't test on animals. We test on men. That's a good boy. Drink up.
The fact that the actor in the ad is treated like a dog by calling him good boy, and that the introduction states that they test on men rather than animals, is petty, because it demonstrates how little Blake and Ryan value the people in their immediate vicinity and as test subjects. This advertisement was clearly written and approved by both Blake and Ryan and was posted on the official Betty Buzz page. The level of pettiness Blake is occasionally willing to go through to seem as funny as Ryan, who is now being exposed for constantly talking in performance mode and never being truly genuine, is more embarrassing. However, Blake also brought her pettiness home to her kids, especially her son Olin, when he clocked one by making him a special themed cake. Justin Baldwini is a subject in one of their perfected skills of hijacking films, so this isn't new to them.
My birthday cakes always have a little bit of a sense of humor. For my baby, I just did a giant set of...
Interestingly, Blake was pleased of her humor with a baby cake with a breast motif, even though she knew it might be incorrect.
Which I feel like will haunt him for life. But what do they want at 1? Like, he can't declare what he wants.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
boobs.
Which, in my opinion, will haunt him for the rest of his life. But what do they want at one point? He can't say what he wants, so boobs.
I'll show you a picture after. They're pretty
Oh, I
amazing.
need to
Of the
see
cake,
that.
not
Of
of
the
mine.
cake, of your
Also
boobs.
amazing.
Then, as you won't believe what she said next, she carried on with a demeaning joke.
Do I love playing nice pool? He's just so manufactured and so nice that, by the time His head is just blown clean off of his body. You're breathing a slight sigh of relief.
In that short moment, Blake joked about her body by trying to turn it around from the cake and ensuring the interviewer Zoe Ball understands that hers is also amazing just like the cake. And it's pretty shocking knowing she revealed how she was offended on set by Justin, whom she accused of making inappropriate comments about her body at the same time saying all of these things publicly without limitations is pretty insane. While this interview sounds cute and funny to many others think it reveals further how self-centered she is, from Ryan mocking Justin with a nice pool character to planning annoying Easter eggs and going as far as allegedly asking his agency to choose between Justin and them. It's no longer news just how low they could go before working with Justin. They weren't close to him, and he had never offended them before, but they were still delighted to make him the scapegoat. Interestingly, Ryan confirmed how aggressive they were in manufacturing nice pool to ensure he gets dealt with in Deadpool, which was their plan for Justin's career.
It's like Ryan and I don't really have friends.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, I know. Aw, our life sucks.
Two unlikable people.
You can see how Ryan highlighted great traits like it's a terrible thing to have, indicating that they want to avoid friendships unless they are with people who share their nasty tendencies.
My parents had paid the show choir director to put me in the choir because I can't sing or dance to save my life.
But you were lead in that choir, huh?
I went in there, I was like...
Doing something like this just exposed how people are like pawns to them, and now you will see how Blake almost did the same thing to Penn. As soon as Blake saw that Penn was cast in Gossip Girl, she poisoned the whole cast about him because she was upset that Penn was hired. Blake didn't know Penn before then, but was more than happy to ruin his career, and she did precisely the same with Justin. It's wild how Blake enjoys just destroying people for the fun of it. The weird answer could be that Blake likes to insert her dominance on men like Penn and Justin to the point where she falls in love. The whole game is ridiculous, especially with how she went on to date Penn after attempting to destroy him on their first meeting. However, many people believe Blake is like this because she has lived a privileged life since she was a kid. She once appeared so proud to reveal her dad once bribed a choir director to put her in control and lead the music, even though other great singers were in a choir.
I wore Britney Spears' dress the other night. I spent the morning with Baby Spice wearing my baby necklace that I've had since I was 10. Someone fed me a brownie today.
Even as an adult, Blake still finds it hard to believe how much privilege she has. I spent the other night with Baby Spice wearing my baby necklace that I've had since I was 10 years old, and someone fed me a brownie today. This petty mindset is one of the reasons that Blake and Ryan could call to get on Saturday Night Live or anything else they want, even though the public no longer finds them particularly appealing. In numerous leaked interviews from the past, Blake has also repeatedly explained how she strategically hijacks movies by pretending to be present to act until she enters and takes over. In another interview, Blake disclosed how she did this when she had intended to collaborate with Reed Morano to direct the movie for which she wrote the screenplay, but Reed began talking about another script she really liked. Given that she was prepared to drop her current project in order to work on another, Blake looked into this script to learn more about it and how to fit herself into it.
Do another movie instead, and we instead spent the entire night talking about this script that she was obsessed with called The Rhythm Section. She wasn't hired as the director. I had never even heard of it. We both left the meeting wanting to make The Rhythm Section instead, but the problem was we weren't hired. Barbara Broccoli had no idea who either one of us were.
This narrative becomes quite petty when you learn that Blake persuaded Reed to hire them because Barbara Broccoli, the film's producer, is more interested in buying ideas than in coming up with unique material.
So then I became obsessed with finding this script, and I tracked it down. And she didn't tell me the name of the script. She didn't tell me it was called Rhythm Section. She just described the story. She described the character. She said it was the producers of Bond, and I knew that that meant Barbara Broccoli.
Blake disclosed that she had become fixated on discovering the narrative after learning that Barbara had good taste and produced quality films. In order for them to collaborate on Barbara's movie The Rhythm Section, she even persuaded Reed to abandon the project she was working on.
I called Reed and I was like, listen, I know you're doing another movie and I'm supposed to be doing another movie. Let's be honest, neither one of us want to be in those relationships, so let's do this movie instead.
Eventually, Blake got what she wanted and was so proud of herself for the little scheme.
And we just sort of begged her to hire us both. She didn't have anybody attached to the movie, and now she would have two, lucky her. And she fell for it, which is incredible.
Blake was really proud of herself for the small plan after she finally achieved what she desired.
And you have a baby on the way. Congratulations.
What makes you say that?
The shark told me.
You know you don't ever say that to a woman.
It must have been amazing to have things go her way every time, but the rhythm section did poorly, ranking 28% on Rotten Tomatoes for a widely released production across 49 theaters. Blake claims that Barbara fell for her perfect plan to slip into the production, further demonstrating how Blake views these activities as exciting games. Despite having a $50 million budget, the movie only gross passive-aggressive behavior was in an interview where she didn't like being congratulated for her pregnancy. As a result, Paramount lost roughly $30 million, and the film had the lowest $2.8 million in its first 3 days, leaving the filmmakers extremely unhappy. Many people also think Blake influenced the rhythm section's production in a way that ruined the film, judging by the way she forced herself to be hired. Another instance of Blake's opening ever.
You can have my 4th child for me.
Yes,
You're hearing it live. She's the surrogate mother for me.
This is similar to her resurfaced viral interview where she congratulated the host on her bump, but turning around to say this to another interviewer shows how petty Blake is depending on who she's dealing with. Blake could have simply said thank you and moved on, but she enjoys playing with people until they think they've said the most horrible thing, and she's the one who does that. Deadpool 2. When Ryan made a remark about Hugh Jackman's character Wolverine, stating that he's typically shirtless but has let himself go since the divorce, he wasn't just being petty and disparaging Justin. It's obvious that Ryan was alluding to the real divorce between Hugh Jackman and his ex-wife, Doralee Furness, because Wolverine has never had a divorce in the movies. Additionally, it's ridiculous that Blake and Ryan concealed the fact that Hugh was seeing another woman from the wife and feigned indifference to her feelings in the blazing lawsuit. Blake's pettiness reached a new low when she first requested that the court gag Justin's attorney in order to conceal more evidence from the public. She even went so far as to request 2.5 years of Justin Baldwini's phone records, which goes even further than when they first began struggling to prove a point despite having failed in numerous others she had attempted to prove previously.